Real quick, before we get into the goodness, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you're notified to every time we upload a video. Appreciate you. Haha, I told y'all. I told y'all about Ja Morant. I did a whole segment on him, and I told y'all. I mean, if you don't believe, go look through the Free Mind Thinkers archives, and you'll find exactly what I said about Mr. Morant. Has he changed his attitude? Hell no. Why would he? He only got a slap on the wrist suspension last time. That was more of a end of season vacay. He was allowed back just in time for the playoffs. Do you think that was coincidental? No. The NBA, the commissioner, figured that we gotta have our stars, we gotta have our ratings, without fully understanding what I said before. You are dealing with a young man who has been able to get away with everything short of murder because of his talent, because of his fame and notoriety. How did y'all think that was going to play out once y'all gave him money to go with that? Money is a lot like marriage. What I say about marriage is this: marriage makes good things great and bad things worse. It's an amplifier. That is exactly what can be said about money. Money makes generous people more philanthropic, and it makes jackasses become. So, this dumbass, fresh off a suspension and a first round exit via the LA Lakers, what does he do? Gets into a car, ride around with his buddies, trying to be hardcore thugged up, fake, fraudulent, and he flashes a gun. Now, where he was in Tennessee, you can own a gun. Hey, you can own a gun pretty much anywhere in America. But flashing it in some states is against the law. It is something akin to a deadly conduct charge or something of that nature. But that's not what I want to address here. What I really want to address is the reaction to it. And let me be more specific. This old bull dude, JJ Redick, I want y'all to check out his reaction, and then I'm going to respond.
And I'll say this again, in both these gun-waving incidents on IG Live, there has been no law that's been broken, as far as we know. Colorado police investigated, no law was broken. Assuming this is in Tennessee, open carry allowed in that state, assuming he has a permit for whatever it may be, no law has been broken. The reason I bring that up, it is very clear in our CBA what happens if you fail a drug test for performance-enhancing drugs or a street drug, a narcotic. It's very clear. It's this amount of games. It's very clear if you get a certain amount of technicals or a certain amount of flagrants, how much you're going to be suspended. And so that's where I think a 40-game suspension, the precedence for that, for not breaking a law. Again, we can go into the backstory of the incident with the teenager, Jaws claiming self-defense, that the teenager threw the ball in his face. We can go into the incident at the mall when he yelled at a security guard. We can go into the incident with the Indiana Pacers traveling party. As far as we know, all of these things have been investigated and no law has been broken. I'm not condoning the behavior. I'm not saying there should be no punishment. There should be. There should be consequences. You are the face of the league. You are representing the NBA. You are a role model to young kids. All of that. I don't think half a season is the right answer. And the last point I want to make is you bring this up, the guns on social media. We talk about consequences. Look, in our country right now, gun culture is pervasive. It's pervasive. We've got mass shooting after mass shooting, and nobody's doing a damn thing about it. So I get why we're so sensitive to this right now. But there's no consequence for Greg Abbott telling his constituents that they should go buy more guns, and then we have mass shooting after mass shooting in Texas. There's no consequence for an elected Tennessee official to send out a Christmas card holding AR-15s with his young family, and then there's a shooting in his very district. There's no consequences to that. So why are we trying to lay down the hammer on a 23-year-old who didn't break a law? Explain that to me.
So I am going to attack this dingy son of a break that bullshit down in a few ways. Number one, dude, you're a former athlete. And the last I checked, athletes hate when we try to bring real world shit into the sports world because those two places don't often cross paths. You know, like things said on the court or on the field that are completely acceptable would not be tolerated in the 9-to-5 corporate workplace. And there have been several occasions where that has been addressed, and athletes often, in a bit of a snippy way, remind reporters, hey, look, you know, that's part of the game, and that's what happens. Okay, cool. But you, in an effort to defend the actions of a young dumbass, you want to try to bring in real world shit. You want to go political. Oh, nobody said anything about Greg Abbott, the congressman with pictures with his family with ARs. They just had a mass shooting. What the f does that have to do with a dumbass riding around flashing a gun? Seriously, what? How do you equate the two? Because there have been mass shootings in Texas, the mass shootings everywhere. I mean, I didn't hear you bring up California governor that has literally the most stringent gun laws in the nation, but they rank number one in school shootings. I didn't hear you bring up Chicago. Look up their most recent statistics on gun deaths. JJ Redick didn't bring that shit up. Nah. Hey, JJ, your blue is showing. And then when he talks about the little light amount of games, this little nickel and dime amount of games that he wants him to sit out. Hey, brother, they did that already. You saw what kind of effect it had? None. Young men like that, in order to save their life, you must take it. And what I mean by that is you must take virtually everything away from them before they realize, oh, it's not a game. Decisions have consequences. There was a line from a TV show, The Walking Dead, and it went something like this.
You know, I was thinking how many of you do I have to kill to save your lives?
Now, to hear that, you might go, wow, that sounds dreadful. That sounds, very over the top. No, the point he was making is to get your attention, to get the point across of how serious shit is, I'm going to have to do something drastic. That's what he meant when he made that statement. And that's what's going to have to happen to Ja Morant. To save his life, you're going to have to take his basketball one away from him. Now, I am not suggesting that the boy is banned from the NBA or anything like that. But for him to get the message, I would say a minimum half the season. Because he needs to get the message. It is not a fucking game. You are the face of a franchise. One of the faces of the entire league. You cannot go around making dumbass decisions. Which is another thing that JJ Redick didn't address. JJ, why don't you tell him how fast like that can go bad? Hey, JJ, you're a former NBA player. Why don't you tell him that when you get to a certain point in fame and in life, you can't bring everybody with you? Why didn't you tell him, JJ? Say, man, didn't you see what happened to Aaron Hernandez? Trying to keep it real. Keep it hood. I'm a G. Got convicted for murder, went to jail, killed himself. It can all be taken away in a... So, JJ, instead of playing politics, why don't you tell the boy the truth? Instead of caping up for him, put the fear of God into him. Instead of trying to excuse his shit, scare him straight. Because that's a $200 million man. And do you think another slap on the wrist will actually tell him I can do whatever the fuck I want? Nah. You got to make this hurt. Pain is a hell of a teacher. When I was in the 5th grade, my mother sent me to the store to get some groceries. I called myself slick. I'm gonna try to steal some candy. I got caught. The store called my mother, and she had to walk, a good way to come get me. Just shy of a quarter mile. Just shy. And do you know when that woman came and got me, I got a quarter mile ass whooping. I got a lick with the belt every damn step home. And to this day, I don't steal and I hate thieves. Absolutely loathe them. Because that pain was a hell of a teacher. So JJ, I know what you're trying to do is earn some black points to impress Kendrick Perkins that you went off on last time. You know, you try to get back in the good graces of the black folks. Just be real. This young man needs help. He needs to be severely punished to save his life, both in the NBA and on the streets. Because if this boy keeps going the way he's going, it's going to have a very Aaron Hernandez type of ending. I'm out. Yo, if you want to hear the rest, make sure you check out our podcast. You can find us on all your favorite podcast platforms. That is iHeart, Pandora, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Plus, if you want to reach us, drop us a line. You can find us at freemindthinkers2022@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about us. Leave a comment below and share the video with as many people as you can. I greatly appreciate that. This is your man, Big Brother Tucker. See you on the other side. And always remember, never be afraid to think differently.